everyone, and welcome to Shelf Space. I'm your host, Ross13, and today we are looking at the SD Generation Neo MSN02 Zeong. Please don't turn away yet. I know you guys aren't always super fond of SD kits, but this one is super cool and I really wanted to show it off. Plus, this is one of the kits that my wife got me for, I think it was my birthday or might have been anniversary. Either way, it's a really cool kit and I wanted to show it off to you guys. But first, let's go ahead and take a look at the box. So, you got a blue Bandai logo down here, which shows that this is a reissue. But they have the box done up kind of like the older master grade boxes. And as a designer, I really appreciate that. So we got MSN02 Zeong up here. The same thing in Japanese, I'm assuming. And they have a thing here that says Bandai Spirits 2002, made in Japan. Then on the side, this is another thing that makes it look a lot like the old master grade boxes, this sort of style of things. And this right here is what makes this kit so cool. It has the parts to basically make an SD version of the perfect Zeong. And I think that's really cool. So we're going to make sure to get into that later. But also just look at the details on this. It's going to be really cool to look at. On this side, we got the same illustration as up front, just sans the background. SD Generation Neo, which is a game, if I remember correctly. MSN02 Zeong. This is part of the BB Senshi line 234. Then some information about the Zeong. It's in Japanese, so I can't read any of that. Then this side has all the usual information. No bluefin sticker because I'm guessing this must have come from a Japanese seller or something. Look, it even has a yen price here of $7.78. Oddly enough, no yen price there. They actually went back and removed it from the design. But they didn't center the text. Anyway, that's enough of the box. Let's go ahead and take a look at the figure itself. And here's the little guy in his standard form. And just from here, you can see one of the things that I really dig about this kit. The only sticker on this right now is the eye. I don't think I had anything else on here, and if it was just minor. All the colors you see here are straight up plastic colors. There was no color correcting stickers or anything like that. And particularly for an SD kit of this vintage, that's amazing. But as you can see, there's no feet on this thing, just thrusters. But again, they have these out as their own colored things. And you have a lot of molded detail in here. Looks kind of like a smiley face. And lots of little panel lines and stuff. I did go ahead and put in some panel line marker on this just to make everything pop. And it looks really good. I think the only downer really is you got some empty spaces back there. And then you do have a big seam line across the middle of the head. But that's minor, I think. Let's take a look at articulation right now. With the head, you're on a ball socket joint, and you get some okay movement. You can't move it around too much, though you can pop off the head if you want. And there is something that does trouble me on this one. For some reason, this arm, only this one, doesn't like to stay in very well. There's just no grip on the part there, and I don't quite know why. But it doesn't matter, and I'll get to that later. Let's keep on going with articulation. So, shoulders are on a hinge joint with another hinge there to allow for a little bit of movement, but the armor will get in your way. You have a single jointed elbow that allows for a little less than 90-degree bend. And your hands here are on a ball socket joint. And oh yeah, you do have a big seam going through the hands. I don't know why they didn't just do these as one piece, because it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So you do have an ugly seam line there. So that is a thing. You have some jointing in the chest that allows for a little bit of rotation, a little bit of ab crunching. And then obviously no leg articulation because there's no legs, at least for this version. But let's go ahead and fix that. Let's go ahead and fix this too while we're at it, because this guy comes with some accessories. So in addition to these two legs, which I will admit, these are not properly colored. So at some point I am going to go ahead, come on, focus. I am going to go ahead and probably paint this entire thing just to get everything to be a little bit more color accurate, or make my own color scheme or something like that. Today isn't that day though. But so in addition to these, focus, we have some wires with special plugs on them for the wire gimmick that this guy has. And the way it works is you just plug in on the little stump there, and it still fits pretty securely there. And then this part just plugs in there, and it fits securely there, and boom. So for whatever reason, the jointing doesn't work very well on its own, but when I use this, everything's nice and secure. So this is probably how he's going to be displayed, just so that way I don't risk the arm coming off. And it looks really cool. It holds the weight fairly decently. I say as it droops a little bit, but it's not bad. And I suppose for an SD kit of this era, not bad is kind of what you want. But let's go ahead, we'll pop this off for right now just so it doesn't get in our way. Let's go ahead and get the legs on this guy. So first thing we need to do is pop off these. They are on a ball joint, so you can position them. I forgot about that. But then you just pop them off. And then just pop these on. And oh, there was two other parts that I forgot. You have little armor bits. Oh, this thing go on all the way. To complete the arms, basically. Though technically, the way the perfect Zeong is usually represented, it only has one complete arm. This has the stuff for both, and so we're going to use both. And it just slides over, pops into place, and there we are. Get that plugged back in. I can go, hello. But yeah, this thing is super cool. I mean, yeah, it doesn't have a whole lot of like high grade or master grade articulation, but for what it is, it's simply amazing. The color separation on this thing, the lack of stickers, the only one you got really is the eye, and the inclusion of the legs and the wires and stuff like that makes this a pretty phenomenal kit, particularly for what it is and I think how much it went for. So I have to say, I would highly recommend this to anybody who likes SD kits or even just a fun Gunpla build. Let's go ahead and do a couple of SD comparisons. Okay, so to start off, I don't think I've actually shown this one to you guys, but here it is next to the actual SD grandpa I have. This tiny little guy was also from one of the SD game lines and came with this little SD version of the G armor. You can actually combine him into this and stuff like that. That's why he's got 2 shields. And these two next to each other are kind of a scream. Particularly since it's scale, quote unquote. But yeah, that's kind of cute. Let's see, we'll position this over a little bit more. Then another sort of SD game one is my Epion here. Still sort of representing that older style of SD Gundams where you basically have feet underneath the waist and that's about it. Move this aside. Then we have Night Gundam. That's a little bit of a newer SD kit. This is in his Centaur form. Now we got the 00 Gundam from the Sangoku So Ketsuden line. And finally, we got the Ground Gundam in the full CS booster armor. Or not armor, but booster frame from the Cross Silhouette line. And he's about the same size as this guy. So, yeah, like I said, this is a fun little kit. And I think anybody who can get their hands on it won't regret picking it up. Anyway, that's been a review. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all those fun YouTube things. Check the description below for links to my storefront where you can get official shelf space t-shirts and more. And yeah, thank you again, and I'll see you the next time you invade my shelf space.